Hey, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time with us, welcome aboard. We love having you here. My name is James.
I'm Stephanie.
And we are Sea Salt and Pine, and we make RV related content. And that includes travel videos, repair type videos, tips and tricks, anything along those lines. That's the kind of content we make. So we're glad you're with us. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about RV repairs. So we are full-time RVers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're going to kind of focus on as we talk through this issue. That's going to kind of be the center of this talk today. But we got to make a disclaimer before we get into any of this stuff with you guys, okay? Before we begin, we want you to understand that we are not bashing any manufacturers whatsoever, okay, in this video. Rather, this is really more of a discussion to
bring awareness.
Go ahead, yeah. Bring awareness to the issues that we have had specifically, and maybe that issues that a lot of others are having also. And maybe this can help bring some change to the industry to help us as RV owners make the process better.
More streamlined.
So that's what our hope is. But we are not bashing any RV manufacturers. Okay, just want to make that clear. Okay, so let's talk about the RV issues that we have had on the road. Let's go over the overview of what we're going to talk about today. First thing we're going to talk about is our leveling system. Okay, we have had several times throughout our travels where our leveling system has given us problems, where we've tried to set up, and it hasn't really gone well for us.
Yeah.
First in South Carolina, then I think a few more times on that trip throughout our Ohio loop, which if you haven't watched that playlist, it's really, really good. You should watch it. But anyway, on that whole trip, we had a few times where it wouldn't work. And then on this long trip also, it started giving us issues starting in Kansas. And I think we've pretty much figured out why it does it. And so after we talk about leveling system, then we're going to talk about a crack that we found in our bedroom wall. And then also we're going to talk about some separation in the walls, or some wall separation that we've been having in our front closet. Okay?
Okay.
And so let's go over the leveling system. So why don't we head outside? We'll show you the leveling system. We're not going to actually go through that process in real time, but we're going to go to the leveling system, show you how that process works for us when we're getting set up. So let's head outside. All right. Hopefully this is all right with the wind, but okay, talking about the Lippert leveling system. So the first thing that we do when we pull into our spot is normally we'll give it the eye test. So I'm gonna come out in the front. And normally what I'll do is I'll get somewhere where I can see, and I'll see if it's level. So first thing I'll do. And if it looks off, then I kind of know that's probably going to be off a little bit. But the next thing I'll do is I'll come over to the panel. Turn it on. And we're going to go down to manual level. You're going to hit enter. And you can see how that tells you whether you're actually level or not right there. Okay? And if it's way off, if these numbers are like, 0.85 or something like that, then you know that, especially on the left to right one. But the top one, that's front to back. That one's not so bad. It's this one down here, the left to right. That's the one you need to fix. Okay? Because if it's not even from left to right, or at least close to even from left to right, the auto level's not going to work. And that's what we found out. So that's the first thing you need to fix, and I'll show you how you do that. You get something like Anderson blocks. If you've been RVing for any amount of time, you know what Anderson blocks are, but we got a cheap knockoff from Amazon. You get something like an Anderson block, you put it underneath there, you drive it up so that it levels that side of the RV and brings it up to where you need to be so that you're close to level when you start auto leveling. And then your auto level we'll have no issues at all. You'll be fine. That's at least what fixed our problem. So we just try to do that every single time, and it works pretty good. So if you have other issues, then yeah, you need to diagnose and do something else. But that should fix probably 90% of the problems with your leveling system.
Okay, so when we got to the Black Hills, I was cleaning and I noticed, you should see there is a crack under there.
Oh, let's see. Crawl underneath here. There it is right there, right underneath this bedroom slide. Pretty much even with that slide right there. So
after I noticed that, I went online and I noticed there were other people that had this problem, and they were saying that it was associated with wall separation in the closet. And I was like, uh-oh. So I was like, hey, we need to take everything out of the closet and we need to see. And you'll get to see in a second. We have wall separation also in our closet. You'll have to turn the light on for them to see. But
okay. All right, let's get in real close here. First of all, you can see that trim right there is pulled back, and then right there you can see how the wall is separating. So there's something going on where it's pulling away. Now, again, no leaks or anything, so.
They call it a loose weld. That's what we were told. And that because of the loose weld, it's causing both of these issues. So that one loose weld is caused the crack and the wall separation.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway.
That's what I was told. So until they get it in and, you know, actually like get to look at it, I'll have it better. But that's what we were told based on the pictures I sent them. So
yeah, the good news is that everything still works fine. There's no leaks. There's no damage on the outside of the rig. So, you know.
Yeah, we were worried about some people had cracks on the outside. So then that was the third thing that we did. After we noticed these two things, we went right outside. There's no cracks on the outside.
Yep.
So
we're still lucky in that regard, and we're thankful. So we're going to keep on keeping on until we finally get into the factory and get this work done. But
we are taking a little bit more easy though. We're staying a little bit longer in places just so we're not putting so many miles,
right?
Yeah.
On the RV. So. But that is the crack and the wall separation. So. All right, let's go talk about manufacturing process.
Well, with the crack in the bedroom wall and the wall separation, the way we're trying to get it solved is through email. There's an email for the manufacturing company. You let them know what's going on. They get back to you, and then you work with them to get a date, so then you can bring the rig in, so you can get it fixed.
Okay. So if you don't know, we own an Alliance fifth wheel. Okay, that is our RV manufacturer. All right. It's a 2023 36 BRM. All right. And we love this unit, first of all.
Yeah.
Okay. But we've been going back and forth over email with Alliance. Okay, go ahead.
So when I first emailed about the issue, they said, find a local dealer because it will be covered under warranty. So a local dealer that could do the work. So what we did is we went on a Facebook page and we were looking for local dealers. We were in the Black Hills at the time. So finding somebody local to that area that would be able to do the scope of work that was needed. There was a recommendation for a place in Sioux Falls. So,
which ended up being the closest recommendation that we got through the Facebook group.
Correct.
So
I contacted that place and I gave them, they needed like the VIN number and I think I had a case number at that point. So I gave them that information. And then they contact the manufacturing, and I guess with them speaking to the manufacturing and understanding the scope of work that was needed, they then informed me that we couldn't go there because they didn't have what was needed to do the work. She said it's pretty invasive, and they just didn't have everything. So
Right. So come to find out, as they were going back and forth with the manufacturer on what would need to be done, from our understanding is what will need to happen is the bedroom slide will need to be removed from the RV completely, need to be taken out, and then also they're going to need to remove the entire front cap from the RV as well to fix those issues with the walls. And so that's pretty extensive.
So then we went into the group and we asked for recommendations. And the majority of people said, go back to the manufacturing. They were pretty much like, don't chance it taking it anywhere else because of how extensive the work is. So I emailed the person that we were dealing with back, and I said, this wasn't going to work because they can't do it. And is there any way that we could go to the actual manufacturing to get it fixed? So at that point, I also said, can you please just call me? Because going back and forth on email, it's kind of like a lot. Plus, like, they have up to 48 hours. So we were still in Rapid City trying to figure out, are we going to continue west? Should we start heading back east? Because if they were able to give us a date, then we could figure out how we wanted to proceed. So, I mean, back and forth, probably for over a week before I got a phone call, and we were able to...
Now, and the reason why is because it was near July 4th. Okay, and that's why it took so long to get an answer back.
Yes, because they had Thursday, Friday, and then, of course, the weekend off. So I get on the phone, and then during the conversation, it was like, okay, no problem. On July 31st, just give me a heads up, because they schedule 90 days out. So in order for us to get on the books for October...
Yes. I just wanted to clarify that, though. I want to make sure they understand that for Alliance, the 90-day out rule, from what we understand, is only for extensive work. I guess if you just need regular type work, it's not a 90-day rule.
It's also because there's like something that happens in the manufacturing that they put that in with that part of the manufacturing. So my understanding was like it's something with the manufacturing schedule as well,
Right.
which is understandable because they're still creating new units.
Can you pull that up a little bit so it doesn't bang? Thank you.
So I get on the phone and I said, okay, so July 31st, I then reached out. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let me back up. So during this conversation, I was told that they wouldn't be able to schedule for October until August. And just to give them a heads up, July 31st.
Right.
But they also told me they were putting it on their calendar, and they had given me a date of October 14th. So I was given a date saying, hey, it probably is going to be October 14th, and then we had some other things that we had to take care of, and so they were giving me like a play-by-play on how it would work out. I said, okay, great. So July 31st, I made sure to send the email, hey, just giving you a heads up, making sure that this is being taken care of. I get an email back, and it states that October's booked. So try to get into November, we have to wait till August 31st to remind them for September 1st to try to get us on the books for November. I hope that makes sense.
Right, so you have to wait till the next month to see if you can get in the following month. Because, again, it's on a 90-day rotation, so...
So
yes.
I emailed back and I was like, well, that's a little disappointing because I feel like that wasn't made clear. Like, I felt like the way it was explained was, oh yeah, October 14th. Like, I had an extensive conversation. Like, oh yeah, you should go do this or during this time. I just wish that it had been more clear. There is no guarantee. Instead of giving me a date saying we can play with the month of October and see if I can get you in for a certain day, but I'm not sure. That's just not the way it came across. So I emailed back explaining that I was a little disappointed but that we did want to try to proceed to get in at least in the beginning of November, because our issue now is we are wintering in Florida, so we have reservations November 15th. So if they can get us in on the 1st of November, because they said it's going to take about a week, then we can still make those reservations. But if not, then we're going to be forced to wait until next year.
Or change our reservation, which is unlikely, because reservations in Florida are hard to come by. So we're still on standby for all that. Okay, but what's the takeaway from all of this whole conversation we just had? Well, be flexible. If you are not in this lifestyle yet, but you're looking to do full-time RVing, you're going to have to be flexible, okay? Because stuff is going to break, okay? I can't stress that enough. When you buy an RV, it's not made like a home, okay? And when you drive it down the road, it's like dragging it through a hurricane and an earthquake at the same time, okay? Stuff is going to break. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so when you have that mindset, it's peace of mind, because you know it's going to happen. So you got to remain flexible.
Yep. That's not the part that, we knew something eventually was going to happen. So that's not it. For me too, I guess on my end, I will take fault. Like, I didn't ask maybe enough questions. I'm still not really clear how that whole scheduling process goes. So I guess I have to do a better job saying, okay, well, how does that play out on August 1st? Is it whichever service?
Is it guaranteed? Is it not guaranteed?
And is it like the quickest service techs to get their, each service tech has, like, I'm sure a host of people that they're working with. So that's the part that I'm just not clear on. Like, how does that play out? Which I wish I had answers. I still don't have answers for that. Because I feel like that also would then help us figure out, like, how we can move forward in as far as, like, trying to get on the books.
Yep. If you are full-time, another tip I would try to give you is find a location near your manufacturer that you wouldn't mind staying at for a while. Because if you're kind of waiting for service and you don't want to move your RV because you don't want to make the problem worse, find somewhere where you like to be for a little bit. That may have some reservations for you for a little while, because you could get I don't want to say the word stuck. That's not the right word. You just might be in that one spot for a little while until you can get in.
And then to follow on that, after you get the work done, maybe schedule somewhere close by so you can see how the work is, right? Like,
oh yes, schedule a campground near the manufacturer.
Whatever that work may be. For us, I don't know how much that would help us, because I feel like for us it's probably something we'll find out as we're traveling, because I feel like the roads, definitely contributed to the issue.
Yeah.
So, but if you're getting something that you can, like tanks or air conditioning or something else, at least if you're nearby and it's still not working correctly for you, you're right there. So you can be like, hey.
Yeah. If this was something like a fresh tank or something that happens more frequently or all the time, that's not so extensive where they have to pull your RV apart, I think I would probably be okay with going to the dealer to have this work done. But because it's so extensive, I really would like the dealer to do it, just because they...
You mean the manufacturing?
Excuse me, the manufacturer, because they know this unit. They're the ones who put it together. And I'm more confident that they're going to put it back together the same way it was put together in the first place. So, yeah. I would rather wait, because right now the unit is still functional. So, I'm okay with that. Now, if along the way somehow it breaks further and we start to have a major leak or something like that, that's when we will have to shift gears. But for right now, that's okay. So, all right. We're going to go back on to RV Complete again. We talked about this last week in our truck repairs video. If you haven't watched that, that's another good one. We have some good tips for you in that one. So you should watch that one after you finish this one. But anyway, let's talk about RV Complete.
So, this may be our own fault as well, but we were also under the impression that if work had to be done on the RV and you needed to be out of your RV, you would be covered. They would give you a certain amount for hotel and food every day. Obviously, it's not going to cover the whole amount, but
Right.
but they were going to give you a percentage of it back. So, again, we called RV Complete. Same thing. It's work that they're doing. So it has to be a claim, again, that we file, and then they recommend the dealership, and then we go there to wherever they recommend, and then that place does the work, and then that's when they will cover those things.
So in other words, what she's saying is if you bring your RV to your manufacturer for warranty work,
It's not covered.
RV Complete will not cover it because the claim because essentially they're not doing the work, if that makes sense. The manufacturer is covering that work. So if the claim process is not started through RV Complete, they will not provide that service to you.
And I'm almost positive that they do not cover structural work. So
Yeah, you got to read through your service contract.
they wouldn't have covered it anyway if we weren't under warranty.
So, yeah. And then the same tip we had last week, we're going to say again this week. Make sure you have an emergency fund, a fully funded emergency fund for when things like this happen. Because when you do get kicked out of your home, if you're a full-time RVer, you don't have anywhere to go. So you're going to need to go to either a friend's house, a family member's house, or a hotel.
And since the manufacturing is in Elkhart, if you don't know anybody in Elkhart, then
Right. So this is why you need an emergency fund, because the last thing you really want to do is put things on credit, because you're just going to be eaten alive by the interest. And so that's the tip there.
Yep.
So what else? Are we missing anything on the list?
no, I do think that these are all good things, I guess, to learn along the way. We thought that like we had a pretty good idea on things, and we did do a lot of research prior to
Right.
doing this, but I mean, we didn't, and that's okay, and we're learning as we go. I definitely think it helps you like problem solve better. It builds character. It helps you be a better communicator. So there's a lot of pros that come when things like this happen. So
And the last thing I will say is it is frustrating when this stuff happens, okay? But you can't get frustrated. That might sound weird to you, but let me explain it this way. Things are going to happen regardless. And if you go in with that mindset, you're already prepared when it does happen. But when you do end up getting frustrated, it's not going to help the situation at all. And it's certainly not going to help when you try to communicate with the manufacturer or a dealership or a repair shop.
right.
So,
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little frustrated, but I didn't hold on to it. Like I was frustrated at the moment, and I was like, okay, you just gotta let it go. Like normal human reaction, you're gonna be frustrated, but you just can't dwell in that space. You just have to be like,
Yeah.
okay, this is frustrating, but how am I gonna move forward?
now I would be frustrated if, for some reason, our RV was not operational. That's
Yeah.
where I would be a little bit different. Because now it would be like,
We're stranded somewhere.
now we're stranded and you're telling me we can't get in. This is, anyway, that's a whole separate discussion. But if you have any questions about what we just talked about, we'd love to answer them.
If you have any
Please.
tips,
Yeah.
love to hear your tips.
Yeah.
Have you been in this situation? What worked for you? Any services that you recommend?
Yeah, do you have any secrets? Anything that you did that maybe got around that, getting in somehow, a secret backdoor type of way to get in or something to the manufacturer for service? Any of these kind of things help us all. So please comment down below and let everyone know what those secrets are. It helps us all. So we really appreciate you being here with us. It truly makes our day. It makes our in fact, it makes our whole week. We love making these videos for you guys. If there's anything that you would like to see from us, let us know down in the comments as well. We're trying to learn what you guys like from us, being a newer channel, so we'd like to give you what you want. So,
Yeah.
well, stay tuned for next week. Next week's going to be a little bit more about travel. So we'll get back to doing our bread and butter, which is travel. So thanks for being with us. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.